Did you know that love isn't just about attraction for a guy? There are hidden psychological triggers in a man's mind that will cause him to fall hard for you without him even realizing it. And today, I'm going to be breaking down 7 powerful love triggers that will make him crave you on a deeper level. Hi ladies, Matt Shaffer, your relationship coach and personal decoder of the male mind, and I am so looking forward to this video. We're going to be unpacking 7 scientifically backed triggers in a man's mind that if you activate them, they will cause him to open his heart to you and fall for you in deeper and deeper ways. You're really going to love this video, but before we dive into it, be sure to take a second, hit that little subscribe button, and you're definitely going to want to click the link in the description of this video because I have an amazing free gift just for you that's going to make a huge difference in your connections and relationships with men. So now, without further ado, let's dive into the video. Now, the first hidden love trigger is called the peak emotion effect. And this is based off the scientific principle of the peak end rule, which states that our brains are hardwired to remember peak experiences. So if you can get a man to associate really heightened, joyful, peak emotional experiences with you, he's going to feel that way around you all the time, even when you're doing more mundane stuff. So the goal is to create heightened experiences with a guy that you're dating or getting to know. So instead of saying, hey, let's go get dinner, say, yo, I know a secret rooftop spot with amazing drinks and the most beautiful sunset view in town. I'll meet you there. Something like that is going to craft a more powerful, potent, co-creative experience for the two of you more than just sitting across from each other at an Olive Garden. You know what I'm saying? So don't be afraid to invite him into a big, exciting adventure because once you share that experience together, it's going to create an emotional bond between the two of you that's going to be super powerful. Here's a little pro tip on how to use the peak emotion effect. One of the best times to create a peak experience with a guy is right before the two of you part ways. So instead of maybe giving him just a timid little kiss at the end of the night or at the end of the date, give him an incredibly powerful, passionate makeout that he'll be thinking about for days after. He'll be thinking about that peak experience, and it's going to really keep you in the top of his mind until he sees you again. Now, the second hidden love trigger is called the comfort loop. And this basically states that when a man feels safe and understood and emotionally validated, his brain releases oxytocin, which is that bonding chemical that helps fuse people together in love. And how the comfort loop works is if you notice that a guy that you're connected with, that he's struggling with something or he's dealing with something, instead of just letting him sit in it, ask him, hey, it feels like something might be going on with you. If you want to talk about it, I'd love to hear about it, right? Invite him to open up. And if he does open up, instead of just giving him advice or just holding space for him, acknowledge him for that vulnerability. Let him know, share with him, wow, it means so much to me that you had the courage to be vulnerable with me about this. It really meant a lot to me. And I just want you to know that I appreciate that. And how can I support you, right? So what did you do? You created a loop of feedback with him where you noticed that something was going on with him. You invited him to share it, right? You invited him into a safe, vulnerable place. Then once he did share, instead of just giving him advice or trying to fix it, you acknowledged him for that share, and then you asked him, how can I support you, right? This creates a loop of feedback and emotional support that makes him feel safe, both to share and to ask for what he needs, which can be really hard for a lot of guys. So if you start using this comfort loop regularly with a guy that you're connected to, it's gonna really deepen your relationship and create a deep level of loyalty between the two of you. And the third trigger is a powerful one, and that is the signature touch. And this is a special way that you touch him that you know that he loves that no one else does. And this is so potent because for most men, physical touch is a primary love language. And if you can find just a secret little spot that you know that he loves, that nobody else has ever touched him that way before, that he craves, it's going to be a thing that you can come to again and again and again to create intimate moments between the two of you. And I'm not necessarily even talking about sensual or sexual touch. Like, for example, it could be as simple as running your hand up the back of his head and pulling his hair a little bit. Like that was something that a girlfriend of mine did for me that no one else had ever done before, that I loved. And I would ask her to do that to me when we would be laying on the couch watching TV. Or maybe it would be like caressing like the inside of his arm or nibbling on one of his ears or something. It's just finding just a special type of touch that makes him melt into butter. That's the sort of thing that when you share that with him on a regular basis, it's going to create deep connected experiences between the two of you and deepen your connection and deepen the attraction between the two of you, both physically and emotionally. Now, the fourth trigger is a sweet one. It's the psychological security blanket. And this is a way to make him feel truly safe and at home with you through consistent rituals. Now, these can be any type of simple patterns that you do with him on a daily basis, things that you love to do together that he really appreciates receiving from you, that create moments of connection between the two of you. So for example, me and my girlfriend, one thing that she would do for me every morning that I loved so much is she would make me a love latte. So I would be working in my office and she would go out to the espresso machine and make a latte for me and then put a little heart in the foam and bring it into me as I worked, which I absolutely loved that. And it really made me feel supported by her as I was going to work, to bring home the bacon. And another practice that we had was at the end of the day, after she was working and I was working and the sun was going down, I live out here in the country, we would go for a walk around the lake behind my house. And it was just so sweet. And then we would end the night with a gratitude practice. So we would talk about things we were grateful for that happened during the day, and just having these touch points of connection and ritual between the two of us. It deepened our relationship and it gave me a sense of repetition and safety in the way that we would go about our days, So think about, where can you create like a psychological security blanket of consistent rituals? And an important tip to remember here is that the more consistent these rituals are, the deeper the emotional connection is that's going to flow from them. And the fifth trigger is called the mirror effect. And this basically means that you're going to reflect back to him his deepest self. Because we fall for people who can see and appreciate the deepest, most authentic expression of who we are. So what I mean by this is that when you start to learn and understand what a man values about himself, acknowledge that from an authentic place, right? Mirror that back to him. For example, if one of his biggest values is his ambition, you could say to him, you could acknowledge him and say, wow, I just love your vision for your life and the passion with which you pursue it every day. It's so inspiring to me, and it makes me want to be the best version of myself in our relationship. Woof! If you were to say that to a guy that you are connected with, he's going to really feel seen and understood and honored by you. And it's really going to turn him on and really see you as a potential life partner. Or for example, if one of his core values is kindness, you could say, I just love how open your heart is and how selflessly you give to the people that you care about. Basically, anytime you want a man to really feel seen and loved and adored by you, figure out what he stands for and authentically acknowledge him for that. But the important thing is, make sure it is authentic, right? If you just sort of like fakely compliment him on things that he loves about himself, he's going to be able to tell, and he's not going to be able to trust that. So say it from an authentic place about something you genuinely admire about him, and I promise you, it will make him fall in love with you. Now, the sixth trigger is the forbidden fruit effect. Say that 3 times fast. And what that means is you basically want him to feel like he's getting to win you over a little bit every day. Now, when I say this, what I'm not saying is to play hard to get, because if you're intentionally sort of emotionally withdrawn or emotionally avoidant, he's going to pick up on that. He's going to feel manipulated by that. and it's going to make him feel less safe and less willing to be open to you, right? But what I am saying is you want to keep a sense of mystery and intrigue alive in your connection or relationship with this guy. So instead of just like texting him all day, everything that's been happening in your day, give him a little teaser and be like, oh, I have the funniest story to tell you. Remind me to share it with you later, ... right? And leave like an open loop that he gets to follow up with you to close later. Does this make sense? So the more you're sort of like creating open loops and creating little spaces of intrigue for him to continue to get to know you better and to follow up with you, the more he's gonna value you, right? Because if there's a little scarcity within the connection that he's getting to pursue you to fill, that's gonna create more value for him, because men value the things that we invest in, right? So you always wanna be giving him little opportunities to come forward and fill the space between you. And the seventh trigger is a really great one, and that is the missing piece effect. And when I say that, what I'm not saying is be in some codependent relationship where you're each other's missing piece. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is in every dynamic in our lives, we have unmet or unfulfilled needs, and a relationship can be a great counterbalance to give us and fulfill those unmet needs. So for example, if he's a overly serious guy, be someone to bring light and play into his life. If he spends all day taking care of other people at work or in his family, be the one to take care of him. If he's always in chaos with like the craziness of his life, be his peace, be his grounding, right? And if he has a hard time opening up to anyone and he's got big walls up, be someone he feels so safe with that he can't help but be vulnerable with you. Be his emotional sanctuary. When you're able to come to a man and meet an unfulfilled need of his in a deep and consistent way, it is going to open up his heart in ways that nothing else ever could. So as you're thinking about which of these 7 triggers to use with a guy that you're dating or getting to know, I want you to remember that they all boil down to one of 3 core feelings that you really should be looking to invoke from a man that you want to fall for you. Those feelings are safety, freedom, and curiosity. If you're activating those 3 feelings in a guy that you're in the process of dating or getting into a relationship with, those are the feelings that are going to inspire him to open his heart and fall for you, whether he wants to or whether he chooses to or not. They're going to start inviting him to bring his energy towards you in a deep and meaningful way and to create polarity and momentum with you in the relationship. So continue to look for opportunities to inspire those emotions and see what happens in your relationship. It's going to be a lot of fun. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Now, before you go, be sure to let us know down in the comments which of these love triggers you're going to be using first. Hit that little subscribe button and be sure to click that link in the description for an amazing free gift that's going to change the way you connect to and relate to men forever. And I hope you enjoyed this video, and be sure to stay tuned for the next one where I share 10 secret ways to melt a man's heart from the inside out. These are incredible strategies that are going to make a huge difference for you. So enjoy that video, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye-bye. Now, an important thing to remember is that most men are action takers. We a lot of times express our feelings towards our partners and towards people in our lives through things we do.